Hello, good afternoon, student. Today we'll see classification of angiosperms with special reference to Linnaeus. Taxonomy by Linnaeus. Taxonomy, that is a part of science that focuses on naming and classifying or grouping of any organisms. Carl Linnaeus was a Swedish naturalist. He was also considered as the father of taxonomy because in 1700 he developed a way of naming and organizing species that we still use today. His two most important contributions to taxonomy were a hierarchical classification system, and second one is that is binomial nomenclature. That is two-part naming we use till date. During his lifetime, Linnaeus collected around 40,000 specimens of plants, animals, shells, etc. that he that that were standardized by grouping and naming species. He published his first edition, that is Systema Naturae, that means the system of nature, which was a small pamphlet explaining his new system of classification of nature. He continued to publish more editions of System Nature. He included most names of the species in the total. Linnaeus named around 4,400 animal species, 7,700 plant species using his binomial nomenclature system. The 10th edition of System Nature was published in 1758 and is considered the most important edition in full title in English. Is called a system of nature through three kingdoms of nature according to classes, orders, genera, and species. With character different synonyms, places, etc. are also there. Linnaeus' system of classification, he classified nature into hierarchy. He proposed that there were three broad groups called kingdoms, into which the whole of the nature could fit. These kingdoms were having animals, plants, minerals, etc. He divided each of these kingdoms into classes. Classes were further divided into orders. These were further divided into genera in singular and then in species. We still use this system today, but we still use this system nowadays, but we have made some changes in that. Today we only use this system to classify living things. Linnaeus included non-living things also in his time, that he included some mineral kingdoms also. With the he he divided the living things that fit into only three domain: archaea, bacteria, and eukarya. With one of these domain, there are kingdoms. For example, eukarya includes the kingdom of animalia, fungi, plantae, and more. Each kingdom contains phyla, singular for phylum, followed by class, order, families, genus, and species. Each level of classification is also called as a taxon. The binomial nomenclature that was proposed by Linnaeus, uh, he came up with a standard system of naming. There were often many names for a single species that were used generally, and these names tend to be long and confusing. Linnaeus decided that all species names should be in Latin and should have two parts. This two parts system is called as binomial nomenclature. It is still used today and gives every species one unique two-part scientific name. Like in 1958, Linnaeus gave a binomial nomenclature to a house cat. It was called he called it had Felis catus. The first part of binomial system name like Felis is the genus name. The second part of the name was catus. In this example, in the specific epithet, it is used to catus is the example. It is specific epithet, and it is used to identify a particular species and separate from other species belonging to the same genus. Though genus, the specific epithet is full scientific name for an organism, There are many important rules that must be followed for the binomial nomenclature to standardize. The entire two-part name must be in Latin. The entire name must be written in italics or underlined when handwritten. The genus name is always written first. The genus name must be capitalized. The epithet is never capitalized. I mean, the species specific epithet, the species name is never capitalized. The person who first published a binomial name for the species is considered the author. In the most scientific publication, this was that used binomial names. It is usually appropriate to give credit to the other authors also. For example, the full name for the house cat, including its author, is written as Felis Catus Linnaeus, 1958. This means that Linnaeus published the species name in 1958, not 1758. The classification system Linnaeus was based on floral characteristics. He chiefly used characters of stamen for like flowering plants. Therefore, his system is called as sexual system of classification. This system is very convenient for identification of plants. He presented this classification system into two books, the books of species Plantarum, and the another book was Genera Plantarum. This advantage of Linnaeus system is that Linnaeus was the first to introduce some system of classifications uh, to give some basic knowledge of classification. So it was widely accepted by the taxonomist of that time. It provided a reference work. He gave clear-cut concepts, species. There are also concepts of that are being used today. There were some disadvantages for this system that was given by Linnaeus. Uh, the system was artificial or temporary. He later realized that the system should be changed with some natural systems. Linnaeus grouped some unrelated plants due to similarity in flower structure. He also concept of evolution in he also used some religious concept for the evolution differentiation or classification. Linnaeus divided by plants in 24 classes, like you can see on the slide. He mostly used the characteristics of stamen to differentiate between classes. He also used the condition of perigynous, hypogynous, dynamos, filaments fused or not fused, number of fascicles, anther attachment, anther attachment, presence of male and female flowers. Like the first class Monoandria, they have single stamen. Example Canna. Class Diandria, they have two stamens. Example Salva. The Diandria, they have three stamens. Poesy, Tetraandria, four stamens. Example is Cascuta, Pentandria, five stamens. Hexandria, six. Heptandria, seven. Examples are Sapindus, Decandria, that will, and so on. There are many classes you can see here. Till 24 classes were there. Last one is Cryptogamia, flowers absent or not apparent. For example, ficus. This was the system proposed by Carl Linnaeus. In next, we will see system by A.P. Kandol, and further we will go to Bentham and Hooker system of classification.